taking my time, I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time, taking all of your time.
Hey, my trendies, trendsetters, and my trendy tribe. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm double checking. Let me see. Make sure. Okay. Thank you, Leah's grandma. All right. Quick greetings. And then you already see who's up on the screen. Hey, Bama girl, Sweet Essence, Leah's grandma +1, Pat Dyer, Teresa Wright, 41 Fit, my sweet sis. Hey, D, Terry T, baby, Black, Bald, and Beautiful, Yvette Bell, American Born, Dark and Lovely, Robin Moore, Cat, Miss Lady One with the Virgo lips. I'll stop there. Okay. So, as you can see who I have here, we have What's Happening, and you, I'm sure, know her out in these YouTube streets by now. What's Happening is going to give us a little bit of her background, but this will be more of a conversational thing for us. It's not an interview or anything like that, but she's going to help shed even some more light on some things to do with menopause, talk to us, and then I will highlight some of y'all's comments as you're commenting, and I will be dropping the link if you want to come up and talk to us about it. So, what's happening? How are you?
I am fine, Trending. Hello. Trending and the Trending Tribe. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are so welcome. What's happening? Okay, I'm gonna start us off real fast. I just want to ask you because I do think it's very interesting what you told me that your I will say what you got your certification in. So can you tell me how long did it take? What did they talk about just in general? And you were telling me how many people came in and the types of people that came in that gave y'all, that taught y'all. So let me
know. All right. So let's back up. Let's talk about how I got here.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about you when you posted that video. You said that you talked about menopause being a dirty secret. And like I was telling you, I was like, oh my gosh, I have been wanting to do a series on perimenopause and menopause because there are so many women out here that are suffering with these symptoms, and our physicians and healthcare providers are literally failing us with identifying the symptoms. It comes all with this transition phase, right? So because of my own symptoms a few years back, I decided to look and search for some type of program that could teach me a little bit about what I was going through, and how to get through this transition. Because when I would go to the doctor, it was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that I don't know about that. I don't think that's related to, menopause or perimenopause. So that's kind of what prompted me to take the coaching class so that I could coach myself through this transition of life. So I went through a 12-week program. and it consisted of 14 different women. So they were OBGYNs, there were PhDs, there were health coaches. There was a lady there, she was a pelvic physio trainer or something like that. So there was like a myriad of different women from all different specialties and backgrounds that came together and taught this class. And they stepped us up from, your symptoms from perimenopause to menopause to postmenopause and just all the things that you go through. So it was very helpful. And when I did it, I wasn't thinking about coaching anybody. I literally did it just to help myself and so that I could help not only me, but also my daughters, my friends, my family, or just anybody that was struggling and needed some help. So that's kind of how I got started with that.
Okay. How old were you when you, now that you can go back and like, oh, that was probably a symptom of the perimenopause part. How old were you when you first realized you had, not realized you had them, but how old were you when you experienced the first symptoms? Do you remember?
I want to say I was in my mid 30s when I started to have hot flashes.
Okay.
And I mentioned it to someone and they're like, "Oh no, you're not old enough, to have hot flashes." And I'm like, "No, perimenopause hot flashes can start as early as 35." So, and they were shocked because people think, in your 50s or, that's when it starts, but literally as early as 35. So, yeah,
Wow.
that's when I first got my symptom.
Oh
But
my.
we know every woman's symptoms are different. Every woman experiences something different. Um, and just in reality, you go towards the menopause journey, but you go through those, what is it, like 10 years, they say, maybe like a decade
Mhm.
of perimenopause symptoms before you actually reach menopause. And then once a woman reaches menopause, she continues to have changes in her body just simply because she no longer has those, what do you call it, optimal hormone levels. So it's
Wow.
almost like you're never the same as you were, but you can get there. I always say that suffering is 100% optional. You don't have to suffer.
Okay. That's I was telling them last time, and thank you because you, like you said, you did see it, so you already kind of know this. This is for anyone that's new in here that didn't see the first one. That mine, I'm pretty sure around 37 is when I started feeling the things. Now that I know a little bit more, 37 is about the time I started feeling some symptoms.
Yeah, I think I was like 36, 37. Like I said, there's not enough doctors that know how to treat menopause and perimenopause in women. The
Mhm.
National Institute of Health did a survey, I want to say last year, and 41% of physicians felt that they were not adequately trained to manage the menopausal transition in women. So that's kind of scary.
Oh wow.
That's almost not too far off from 50%, 9% difference. But where do women go? You know what I mean? It's like, where do you go if you have questions and nobody can help you? Right. So,
Well, so we talked about this. Okay, let me say this. What's happening? Let me know. She said there's like about 100 symptoms. So
yes.
you said we were gonna focus on some today, not the whole thing. Because I was like 100.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I was really surprised. I always thought there was about maybe 61, 62, maybe a little over 60. But in our training, we learned that there are literally about a little over 100 symptoms. So let's talk about the menopause and the estrogen and progesterone levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we are going through menopause, those levels start to drastically decrease, and that's due to the depletion of the eggs in our ovaries, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then we also have testosterone levels that decline, but that decline is a little bit more gradual than that of estrogen and progesterone, right?
Okay.
But let's talk about estrogen. Estrogen it's that hormone that plays the most significant role, right? Because estrogen it helps with the development and regulation of our female reproduction system. It fluctuates throughout our life, of course, through puberty, ovulation, and of course, menopause. But what I didn't know, and I found out through the coaching program, was that literally every organ in our body contains estrogen receptors. So
Oh.
estrogen plays a part in how every single organ in our body functions. And so when that level starts to decline, it triggers just a whirlwind of symptoms. We also get a low grade inflammation in the cells in our body. So, as we get older, how we start to have more aches and pains?
Yeah.
Well, as those estrogen levels start to decline, that's kind of what triggers all of that, right? That inflammation that's in the body. So, but before we get to menopause, of course, we know we go through the perimenopause, which is what we call that transitional period.
Mhm.
So during that period, like I said, the estrogen starts to decrease, and then you start having those menopause symptoms. Of course, some people have the hot flashes or irregular periods. And I think I heard on your last video, you talked about frozen shoulder.
Yeah, frozen shoulder.
Okay. So I've had frozen shoulder, right?
What did it
I've
feel like to you?
Oh, well, yeah. I couldn't lift my arm. I was in an extreme amount of pain. And I couldn't get dressed on my own. So when I went to the doctor, I kept telling her, I said, I don't know what's going on. I can't lift my shoulder. I can't lift my arm up no more than about a quarter of a ways. She was like, oh, well, did you injure yourself? I'm like, no. I said, I really think this is like frozen shoulder. She didn't want to hear that. Right.
Oh.
So she kept saying, well, can you just lift your arm for me? And I'm like, no, I can't. I couldn't lift it at all. So she walked over to me and she lifted my arm on her own without my permission. And I let out the biggest scream in that urgent care center. I lit that place up that day. So her eyes got real big. And so what happens, she ended up putting me on an anti-inflammatory, and that did help. But frozen shoulder, vertigo. I had another instance where I got up out the bed. I went to walk to the bathroom, and I found myself stumbling. And I was like, oh, wow. I said, what was that all about? So I called my doctor, and he's like, I need you to go to the ER. And of course, they run all types of tests. They're trying to rule out a stroke, and everything's coming back normal. So at that time, I was like, I think these are just my estrogen's dropping. I'm going through menopause symptoms, right? Mm-hmm. And I told the ER doctor, and she's like, oh no, dropping estrogen wouldn't cause that. So, just all types of symptoms, and the doctors don't listen. They don't understand, and
Yeah.
they're very quick to dismiss your thoughts and what you think it is. Yeah. So that was my experience. Like I said, the vertigo, I was walking, I would be dizzy. So yeah, but I'm better. Thankfully, I am better. So like I said, those symptoms can last for 10 years. Once a woman gets to menopause, and a woman is considered to be in menopause after she's gone 12 months without a period, right? Mm-hmm. So, if you're skipping periods, they'll be like, oh, well, you're not quite in menopause yet because you haven't gone 12 months.
Right.
But I've also heard another doctor say, well, once you miss a cycle for 60 days, he considers that you're in menopause. You just haven't hit that 12-month period. But okay. I say after the 12 months are gone with no cycle, that was what I would say from what I've learned over the years, is that, you're in menopause.
Mhm.
Most people or most physicians will say the average age is 51. A lot of studies say 51, 52. I've heard some women say they've had periods 53, 54. So I think it just depends. My doctor would always just ask me, well, what age did your mother go into menopause? Because that's typically when you will go into menopause. But
Oh.
I don't think I'm following my mom's footsteps. But anyway, then you've got postmenopause, right?
Mhm.
And so when you get to postmenopause, that's those months after those 12 months when your period has stopped, right? So now
Mhm.
you're postmenopausal. And even in that phase, some people will continue to experience symptoms like hot flashes. Um, and that
Oh,
might last for a couple of years.
are you serious? I
Yeah.
thought. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I've even talked to some women who have said, you know what, after I got past those, months, after a year and a half, 2 years in, I started to feel better. So some people do feel better, some people don't. I think it just depends on the person.
Mm, 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 mm.
So, like I told Trending, today I wanted to kind of just talk about the symptoms from the neck up because there are so many symptoms. We would be all over the place, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I do want to talk real quick about the heart palpitations. I think I heard you mention that in your last video. I've
Yes,
also, yep.
I felt those. I have felt those. Yep.
Okay, so here's what I learned about the heart palpitations. So, estrogen, and once again, we're going to go back to estrogen playing this huge role in how our body functions. So, estrogen and cortisol have a relationship, right?
Okay.
So estrogen, when your estrogen levels are optimal, what they do is they work to keep your cortisol levels low. And if you've ever heard about cortisol, I think we've seen the commercials where if you had high cholesterol, they showed the women with the big stomach.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so you kind of I've always correlated high cortisol levels to, like a fuller stomach, right?
Mhm.
But what I found out is that estrogen, as it starts to decline, well, your cortisol levels start to rise. So I
Mm.
started to have heart palpitations first thing in the morning when I would wake up. So I wake up and my heart would be racing. And I'm like, gosh, what is wrong? I went to bed. I was fine. I'm not stressed. I don't have anything going on that would cause me to be feeling like this. And so what I learned was that when you wake up, those cortisol levels start to rise quickly if you don't have that estrogen, those optimal estrogen levels to keep them at bay and keep them down. So that's kind of where those heart palpitations come from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, interesting, right? Yeah. So let's start with the top of our head, right? So we talked about hair loss. So, of
Yeah.
course, estrogen affects the production of the scalp oils. So the hair starts to become more brittle and dry and it starts to thin out. And then sometimes we get hair growth. As you know, some people start to get hair on their faces.
Yes.
You see sometimes, as you get older, people get hair on their chins. A lot of what the doctors have said is that as your hair starts to get drier, use shampoos with keratin and biotin, or
Mhm.
you can take biotin and collagen supplements to kind of help combat the effects of the oils reducing in your scalp. Brain fog, right?
Yes.
How many people start to have brain fog, or you walk into a room and you can't remember what you came in there for?
I thought that was just me. I mean, it's just like I didn't think it was related to anything menopausal. I say.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So you walk into a room, you can't remember anything. You've got the memory loss. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have a hard time with my attention span.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll be working on something, and then I'll get sidetracked, and I'll start working on it. And I'm like, oh, I can't seem to just focus on this. So difficulty with concentrating, right?
Yes. Hill 75 said she's all in my business.
Yeah. So a lot of people are experiencing these symptoms, and it's I go to the store now and I got to make sure I write notes or put in my phone, like, what am I going to get? It's just a lot. There's a lot that comes with it. Anxiety.
Mm.
My GYN, I absolutely love her. I was hoping that she could have joined us today, but I think her daughter has something going on, but she may be able to join us at another time. But
Okay.
with her, she and I are about the same age. So when I go for my yearly exam, one day she told me, she was like, how are things going? She always kind of tries to gauge where I'm at as far as with like the perimenopause, and whether or not how my cycles are going. And she told me how she just suddenly out of the blue started to have anxiety. And she was not really trained on perimenopause, menopause symptoms. So she said she had to go and do some research to try to figure out what was going on. And then, but she said as quickly as the anxiety came, it left within like a week or two. But she said it really scared her, because it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Headaches. Does anybody out here have headaches?
We
Something like
and we
that.
heard about the migraines can last like it's not just that one time, it lasts like multi days sometimes. The crazy migraines.
Yes, the migraines. And it's just, there's just a myriad of changes that happen. And you wouldn't even, when we were growing up, or you see people going through menopause, you would see people, oh, it's talking about the hot flashes. But nobody else mentioned anything else, right?
Yeah, it's the
Wh-
hot flashes. Maybe
Mhm.
the hair. Maybe I feel like possibly I knew about the hair, but I didn't know about this other stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot. Um, let's see what else. Okay, so our mouth, right?
Mm.
We start to have oral health changes, like we get gum disease. Some people start to get sensitivity to hot and cold
Mm.
drinks and food. Burning mouth.
Yeah, that burning mouth.
Yeah,
Oh, what I
yeah.
tell you, it's the kind of like I wish I had kind of told my husband, but I was just like thinking it was the way I ate the food or something. So I just never said anything. I'm just like, this has got to stop. And mine travels from about the middle of the roof of my mouth to like right before where you swallow it in your throat. That's where
Okay,
mine like crazy sometimes, just out of nowhere, just because.
okay. All right. Well, burning mouth. Here's the thing: in the studies that were done, they're not 100% sure that it's due to declining estrogen. They believe that it is. But some of the other possibilities for burning mouth could be maybe you've got low iron, you've got low zinc, or you're low in your B vitamins.
Okay.
So, yeah, so maybe, if you still have that, maybe get those levels checked with your doctor, right?
Okay.
Also, it could be caused from maybe some medications that you might be on, thyroid conditions, or diabetes, or even acid reflux.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, as far as like the dry mouth, my doctor has always touted. She used to tell me all the time, drink a lot of water. So stay hydrated, drink your water, drink herbal teas. Um, Water, I don't think a lot of people know that water is an anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
And yet, water is an anti inflammatory. It's going to help flush out those toxins from your body. It's going to lubricate your joints. Because what happens when you're dehydrated, your body will take water from your joints, and that can lead to pain and inflammation.
The one thing I've gotten better at, I have to have water flavor with mine, but
Okay.
because I used to live off of juice. I'm like, I don't like water. I don't like how it
Okay.
tastes. I finally found my water flavor I like because there's a lot I don't like. I don't like the very popular water flavors. I don't like any of them. They taste weird to me. But Starburst came out with a water flavor packet, and ever since then, last 2 years, I can get my actual daily water take now because I can intake. I do not like how water tastes. I'm just that one of those people that's like, no, water does have a taste, and I don't like it.
You know what? There are only certain waters that I can drink, but I have to have water. It has to be cold. I can't drink room temperature water. It has to be really cold. Yeah, I hate room temperature water. And I put lemon in my water. I don't use any other sweeteners in it, but I'll say this: sometimes I just don't want water, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But one thing I started to do years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, so let me back up. I had one doctor, he used to tell me, only drink water.
Mm.
And I said, well, I can't have like orange juice or apple juice. I said, I can't even have any like 100% fruit juice. He looked me in my eyes. He said, no, water. And I said, okay. He said, after a while, your body will start craving it. And that's all you'll want. Now, I did go through a period in my life where all I drank was water for like 2 years. I didn't drink anything else. No pop, no juice, nothing. And I gotta say, that was probably, I felt the best ever. Like I didn't have any joint pain. And I thought about it, I was like, wow, during that period, I really didn't have any joint pain. And I'm like, water really does what they say it does. So if you don't drink water or if you don't keep your inflammation down and with your estrogen levels dipping, that chronic inflammation in your body, it can lead to cardiovascular disease.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people even realize too that inflammation is the underlying source to about 15% of cancers.
Oh, wow.
So it starts with that inflammation. So it's so important that we keep the inflammation down in our bodies. I drink a lot of herbal teas. You know, I do ginger tea, hibiscus, marshmallow root tea. I drink a lot of teas every day. One, just to try to prevent cancer, I'll drink soursop tea. It's nasty, but I will drink it with a little bit of honey. For me, I'm really big on prevention, but I do like the idea of more holistic type things opposed to Western medicine and stuff like that. But
Okay.
that chronic inflammation in the body, it can also cause depression, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are people that are diagnosed with depression, schizophrenia, all types of mental disorders. And you know what? Some of those people, a lot of their problem is just they are depleted in certain minerals and vitamins. And that's the source of where their issue lies. But nobody knows that. They just throw them on those meds and then they're stuck, right?
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting. Inflammation plays a huge role in a lot of issues in our body. It is basically our body's defense against tissue damage, viruses, and bacteria. So, but we
Okay.
want to keep it low, right?
Right.
What else? Vertigo.
Oh, remember Lauren was, well, you probably saw it. Do you remember the thing when Melody was saying Lauren had vertigo? Remember she experienced vertigo a few months ago? She was out for a while.
Yeah.
And she was like, she had vertigo.
Yes. And vertigo is a very common symptom in perimenopause and menopause. But people, they don't know that. So what happens is the inner ear, our inner ear, the vestibular system is very sensitive. It's very sensitive to low estrogen. So as your estrogen starts to drop, those crystals in that ear can become displaced. When the estrogen gets low, the blood flow and the oxygen supply in our inner ear, it starts to become affected. And so that starts the brain fog, the dizziness, and then the full-on just vertigo attacks.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
And of course,
I was just going to say real fast, I wonder how old Lauren is, because like you were saying, we didn't realize in our mid-30s that's when we were actually starting to experience this. I just wonder, like, did she just take it and her doctor take it as, it could have just been vertigo, which it could have just been by its own.
Right.
But with us women, we just don't even think about menopause until we hit a certain age, possibly. And it has to be the
Absolutely.
know about.
Absolutely. Yes. Somebody just said vertigo is very scary. Yes, it is. I remember I think it was last summer. I woke up in the middle of the morning and just went to turn over, and it felt like the whole bed lifted up and was flipping over.
Oh, wow.
Like, oh my God. I mean, it is very, very, very scary. So of course, a lot of times your doctors will give you meclizine, and that helps. But how you manage that is just to stay hydrated. Everybody type in the chat, stay hydrated. Everybody remember to stay hydrated. Drink your water, drink your teas. My doctor said drink milk too. I don't like milk.
Yeah,
I
milk
don't know about you, Trending. Do you like milk?
not to drink it by itself. And
Yeah.
I'm just not a big milk person. I'm not opposed to it, but it ain't nothing I'm gravitating towards.
Yeah, I'm not grabbing a glass of milk. No, but so, stay hydrated. Drink your water, drink your teas. And if you just have to have like a glass of apple juice or orange juice, this is what I do. I literally cut it in half. So I'll do, or 3/4 of water, and then I'll do 1/4 of juice. Because as we get older, we don't need all that sugar. You
Yeah.
know how people, when they get older, they get uh, adult onset diabetes. Well,
Yeah.
as we get older, we can't process the insulin like we used to. So all those organs get affected. So you put yourself more at risk if you are drinking and eating a lot of sweets and sugars, tripping over and having diabetes. So just be very careful with the sugar. And plus, sugar causes inflammation, right?
Right.
So we want to keep that as low as possible. As far as the vertigo too, limit your caffeine and your alcohol. Avoid smoking. Eat a healthy diet. Fruits, vegetables, and small meals, right, throughout the day. And of course, sometimes your doctor may send you for those, what do they call them, stabilization exercises, where they have you turn your head and stare at the wall, and you got to kind of just like work your way through that spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yep. So that's kind of how you handle and manage the vertigo. Exercise, limit your caffeine, limit the alcohol, eat some healthy snacks, and stay hydrated, right?
Right.
Somebody said, thanks. What's happening for the insight? You are so welcome.
Yes.
Yeah,
When
I
you
can't see. Oh, the black gold and beautiful.
start, I want to ask you about, because I didn't have no idea about it. But I didn't want to throw you off. But I gotta ask.
Oh man. Well, there's just a lot. Okay, so listen. I know cold and hot flashes, right? We know about hot flashes, right?
Knew about the hot ones.
Yeah, we know about hot. But the cold flashes, now where do those come from?
Girl, I said now you're just making things up.
Right. So here's what happens. So as our hormones start to fluctuate, those fluctuations make the hypothalamus, or the hypothalamus in our brain, that's what we call the brain thermostat, right?
Okay.
And that is what regulates our body temperature. So it gets regulated in the brain. So what happens as your hormones start to drop, it becomes more sensitive. The hypothalamus becomes more sensitive, and it causes it to think that the body is cold.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Interesting, right?
So is it the other way too then? Like sometimes it'll think your body's too hot.
Correct. Yes. And that's where the hot flashes come from. So it all starts in the brain, right? It's because the hypothalamus in your brain doesn't have those optimal levels of estrogen. Those estrogen levels are dropping. And so now that hypothalamus is thinking like, hey, the thermostat is like, something is off, because that estrogen keeps it regulated. Well, now that if you don't have those levels, it's thrown off, and it's more sensitive. So you're really not cold. It's just your brain telling your body that you're cold, and you're thinking that you're cold, and you're feeling the shivers and colds, but you're not.
Wow. Wait a minute.
So wait, let's back up. So when they say it's all in your mind, it's literally all in your mind.
Someone asked, "Is your GYN? Is she black?" Someone asked that question.
She is not. She is not. She is Caucasian, but she is wonderful. She graduated from Harvard. She's extremely smart. She's won all types of awards, and I absolutely love her. And I will not see anybody else but her when I schedule my yearly. She typically doesn't even see people for like yearly exams anymore.
Yeah.
But because she only sees pregnant mother, she only handles the pregnancies.
Okay.
Because her caseload is so high, she stopped doing like the yearly annual exams. Well, I said, well, I refuse to see anybody else. So she will see me. You're welcome, you guys. I'm seeing a lot of thanks in the chat. You are so welcome. So yeah, she is not African American, but she is wonderful, and I absolutely love her.
That is cool though, because hopefully, obviously, that means her peers, some others are with having, you as a patient, her having hopefully, obviously a diverse patient list. Some doctors out there know, like, hey, these things are affecting people differently and everything like that. And yeah, so that is still good though. That is. Can I? Okay. Well, no. What other head symptoms? Neck up symptoms are we getting? Because I'm saving that question because I don't want to throw you off.
Okay. So everything above the neck. Okay, dry eyes. Let's talk about our eyes, right? Estrogen levels can impact the amount of tears that our eyes produce. So as those levels start to drop, the amount of tears that are produced start to diminish, right? So you might find yourself where your eyes are red, they're itchy, but they might feel a little scratchy or gritty. And some people also experience a little blurriness and sensitivity to light. So ways that we can combat that. So my doctor, she does not believe in like the temporary artificial tears over the counter type stuff.
Okay.
She just says, drink plenty of water. Drink your water, drink your tea, stay hydrated. She told me to limit my use of my contact lenses.
Okay.
Yep. Avoid pollutants, like smoke, being around people maybe who are smoking, or avoid dry conditions. Sometimes even in your house or in your room, you might want to use a humidifier to, kind of reduce the evaporation of your tears.
Don't go anywhere yet on that one. That is interesting because I always only thought about humidifiers for, was it people that was it breathing? What was the humidifiers that were used when we were kids and our parents, we put them in the room for? It wasn't for dry eyes. But
like if you had a cough or chest congestion, or for your sinuses, like if you were dried out, it would kind of keep the moisture in the air so you wouldn't dry out. Yep. Yeah, a good old humidifier. So yeah, if you've got dry eyes.
Well.
Yes. They also say blink every 5 seconds. When you're on your computer, blink your eyes about every 5 seconds. So I don't know if I can blink every 5 seconds, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But when it comes to your eyes though,
when you look
just keep blinking. Just blink. But if your symptoms start to get, I guess, more severe or they start to worsen, call your doctor, okay? Because, nobody wants to be bothered with dry eyes.
Right.
So let me think what else. Okay, so above the neck. Okay, let's talk about the nose. Okay, we talked about the eyes. Let's talk about the nose, right? So falling estrogen levels can dry out and thin our mucous membranes, right? In our sinus cavity, in our nose. So it makes us more susceptible to sinus infections.
Oh.
Yeah. So you kind of have to be careful with that. So to reduce that inflammation, what are we supposed to do?
Drink that water.
Yep. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated and just try to avoid foods that produce the mucus and stuff, right?
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Let's see what else. Dry throat. I don't know about you. I get dry throat a lot now. Anybody else in the chat get dry throat?
Yeah, I would like to know because I think For once, that's one I'm not claiming. I haven't had the dry throat issue. And Lord willing, not vertigo yet.
All right. Oh, yeah. But I think everybody experiences once or twice during these transition phase, just I can remember the last time I had vertigo, but it hit me. Oh, okay. So we've got some people saying yes.
Yep.
Okay. Dry throat.
And is that still back to the,
Yep. Drink the water. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. And what else happens when, let's talk about the throat. What else happens during menopause with your throat?
What?
Our voice changes, right? Think about it. Your voices get deeper.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Oh, yep. Somebody said food doesn't taste the same for me. No dry throat. Yes, that is another symptom. Yep. The taste in your mouth, you have an altered sense of taste. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes. Altered sense of taste is another symptom. So, what else? Oh, okay. Acne. Some people get acne as the estrogen levels start to decline. We start to get a little bit of sometimes excess oil production.
Okay.
People start to break out with acne. So, of course, wash your face, keep your face, get you some 7th Avenue beauty skincare, keep your face washed, eat a balanced diet. What else? What else did we talk? Okay, we talked about cortisol.
Has the altered taste and smell.
Yep. Vaginal dryness. Yep.
And if and when what's happening comes back, we'll go through sections of the body because she said there's so many. We're doing head up, but I got one that's not a head up one.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, because there's so many, we would be all over the place. That's why I said, well, maybe today we'll just focus from the neck up and just talk about, those symptoms that happen in our head, in our face, in our ears, our nose, stuff like that. In my training, so let's back up. So my doctor, when I started having problems, she told me that she was going to put me on what she calls the menopause pack, right? And I was like, what the heck is the menopause pack? But she said it's just a combination of supplements that will help diminish a lot of these symptoms that we're having, right?
Okay.
So we're going to go over the supplements and then we'll kind of talk about how much you might need to take. So there were a few that she named. So vitamin D3, right? Vitamin D3 is a major concern during our menopause phase because as we talk about, as those estrogen levels drop, it puts us more at an increased risk of bone density loss, right?
Right.
So it sets us up for osteoporosis, just some bone issues. So vitamin D is important. And of course, we can get that. We're supposed to get it through our food, through the sunlight, egg yolks, cheese, stuff like that. But sometimes we're not able to get to those optimal levels. So we need to supplement. Now, I don't know about you, but my vitamin D levels are always really, really low. And so I am on, I think, 10,000 IUs. I take once a week. So I take a 10,000 IU vitamin D3 once a week because my levels just always low.
Too many daily things, but that sounds doable, a once a week thing. And yes, I have had very low vitamin D. I definitely have had that. I didn't realize how much of my mood was affected because of that too, and what was going on, my tiredness and stuff. But yes, definitely have had that.
Yep. And then even as African Americans, because our skin is, a little bit browner, we don't absorb the vitamin D from the sunlight as well as some other races. So I think for African Americans, we tend to be deficient in vitamin D than most races. So, yeah, so we always kind of need to maybe supplement. The other one that she talked about was calcium.
Okay.
And calcium it's very important for our bone health during the menopause period, perimenopause. About 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams is what they recommend. But you got to be careful with calcium supplements in postmenopause, right?
Okay.
According to some research, studies show that calcium supplementation when you're postmenopausal, so that means that period after you've gone 12 months without a period, um, you are at risk of increased cardiovascular events if you're supplementing with calcium. So with
Oh,
calcium, you kind of have to be careful afterwards. So, but while you're going through the perimenopause stages, you should definitely be supplementing with calcium. But always talk to your doctor, right? Talk to your
always.
doctor.
Please, always.
Yeah. The other one was magnesium.
Oh, my trainer, which she is willing to come on live because she started her YouTube channel. My trainer, she and me are, she is like, you take your magnesium? And I'm like, I mean, I meant to. But she's an advocate for magnesium. You go ahead and talk about the benefits, but I'm with you on this magnesium.
Yes, magnesium. Magnesium is good for your sleep. Magnesium definitely helps with the sleep. We know when you're going through perimenopause, menopause, the transition, people have problems sleeping, right?
Mhm.
Some people have a problem falling asleep. I don't have a problem falling asleep. Sometimes for me, and it varies, but it's gotten a lot better since I've been on the supplements. But sometimes I will wake up in the middle of the night and I have a problem going back to sleep. But the magnesium, so when your estrogen levels are starting to dwindle during your menopause phase, it can lower your magnesium levels. So uh, we need that magnesium for bone density loss, right? As long as well with the calcium. We need it it'll help with the mood changes. It's going to help with the hot flashes and the disrupted sleep. So here's the thing with magnesium. My doctor told me, because when she first put me on it, someone's asking what form of magnesium. I
Yeah.
can't take all different types. So I tried the magnesium L-threonate and it bothers my stomach. And because she said, oh, you can take any type of magnesium. I'm like, okay, because I know there's the one that kind of messes with your bowels. I can't think of it. Is it the magnesium citrate? You know, that one can kind of act like a laxative. So we don't want that one. But yes, the glycinate. Yep, magnesium glycinate. But for me, magnesium biglycinate works better for my stomach because my stomach just is very, very sensitive to magnesium and it causes my stomach to hurt. So
Yeah.
yeah, so some of that magnesium I have a hard time, but at least 500 milligrams is what they're suggesting, right?
Okay. Okay.
What else? Omega-3. So omega-3 is, I've been taking omega-3 for years, like probably before I went into perimenopause.
What type stuff was that one type, I should say, of the omega-3s? Is that like a fish oil thing, or is that not anything close to that?
Yes, omega-3 is like a fish oil. And there's only one brand that I take. It's called Nordic Naturals.
Nordic Naturals. Okay.
Nordic Naturals. And it's some of the omega-3 threes. If you burp, you'll get that fishy taste in your mouth. Yeah,
Disgusting.
yeah. The Nordic Naturals don't do that. They have like I think a little lemon or something in it, but they don't do that. And just real quick about the supplements. If you get a chance, before you purchase supplements, always make sure you're buying quality supplements.
Not
So
and all that stuff.
yes, go out to labdoor.com.
Hold on, let me type it in here. Like LABD. I mean LAB door.
Yep, labdoor.com. If you go out there and plug in like different vitamins or supplements, it will give you a grade for them. So some of them have like an A+. I think there's like Nature's Way or just, there's different types of brands, that Pure Encapsulation brand. you can go through and see which brands are rated higher, because some of them have like a lot of fillers and arsenic and mercury and different things in them that they will identify from tests that they've done on those particular brands. So go out, check those brands before you purchase them to make sure that you're getting a quality supplement.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Since we are talking, I think this would tie in. They Black Bald and Beautiful said, "What's your take on sea moss? Have you ever delved into that area yet?"
You know, I think sea moss is a wonderful well, I guess we'll call it a supplement because it has so many minerals and different things that our body needs. I am all for sea moss. Yes, I think, but I think for me, it's just knowing where it's sourced from is always kind of my hesitation, because it's like some people are selling it and I don't know where it's sourced from. So if I don't have a way to know how pure it is, make sure it doesn't have a lot of junk in it.
Yeah.
But I do like sea moss. I do think it's a good way to get a lot of the minerals in your body that you need.
Okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
cool. Cool.
Yeah. So omega-3, right? We want omega-3. It's going to help with the joint pain. It's going to reduce the inflammation in your body. It's going to help prevent and alleviate cardiovascular issues. It's going to help with your dry skin. It helps with sleep problems. You can get it in like seafood,
Okay.
salmon,
Yeah.
sardines. I like sardines. Anybody like sardines in the chat?
I ain't gonna lie. I will eat a sardine. I will. I have some crackers and something. I think that was. I definitely done it. Yeah. I'll eat sardines sometimes.
Yeah, I kind of like sardines. Tuna, mackerel, uh,
Yeah.
oysters, stuff like that. You can get your omega-3, but a lot of times we need to supplement. You can get it in walnuts, eggs, pumpkin seeds, flaxseed, stuff like that. But
Okay.
we don't always get the optimal levels through the foods that we eat.
I know you
Chef Don Don. Hey, Chef Don Don. He said he likes sardines. Yes.
like.
What else? Okay, B complex.
Okay.
So in my coaching class, we learned that B12 and B6 are probably the most pertinent vitamins that you should take to support your cognitive function. So of course, help you with the ability to think, reason, and remember stuff. It's going to help with your memory problems and that brain fog. But my doctor told me just take the B complex. Don't worry about taking a B12 and a B6. Just take the B complex because it's going to hit everything that you need. So having enough B vitamins in your body is going to help you prevent dementia, strokes, cardiovascular disease. And one thing about B vitamins is that my doctor always said you can never overdose on B vitamins. Any excess that your body has, he said, you will excrete that through your urine.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So you don't ever have to worry about having too much or, oh, let me check my levels for my B. You'll excrete it right out of your urine. So those are the ones that my doctor recommends for what she calls, and she gives her patients the menopause pack, what she calls the menopause pack.
I'm
But
gonna
then,
I'm gonna ask you. I'm asking you now because I might forget later. When you get
okay,
a chance, if you'll message me that list, I know it was short, but I'll just put it in my description box because I know some people will be like, okay, can you tell me again what all was in that pack, or so just the list. Not you don't have to do all the benefits if you don't want to. Just whatever you have, just at least the names you gave, like the types you gave.
okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I can definitely do that. Okay, so there's one other one that I learned in the coaching program, which is vitamin E. Now, my doctor she didn't add that one to her pack, but the coaching class, they said vitamin E was important.
Okay. Okay. Did they name what I see she went on mute, so she might not do something, but I'm gonna ask my question for when she comes back. But did they name what the vitamin E might be beneficial to? And you might have been about to say it, but
Yes.
okay.
Vitamin E is going to help with your sleep. It's going to help with the hot flashes. It's going to help you deal with stress. As we get older, you know how we sometimes we just don't handle stress as well as we did when we were younger. Certain things at work kind of get on your nerves and get underneath your skin a little bit more. So vitamin E is supposed to help ease your stress and reduce your oxidative stress levels. Also, depression. So it reduces your risk of depression. And they say you should take about 15 milligrams a day of vitamin E.
Okay.
So, yeah, they say that works well for those menopause symptoms, the night sweats, bladder urgency, and the V dryness, right? So, and then also, what we learned is that vitamin E can be used as an alternative to hormone therapy. So, those women who have contraindications to estrogen, maybe they have a history of breast cancer, or they have a history in their family, and they're kind of unsure about whether or not they want to take hormone therapy. Vitamin E is considered like an alternative to the hormone therapy.
Nice, because if D decides to, she was one of the ones that said she may try hormone therapy, and she's gonna come back in a few weeks and let us know how she's feeling and everything like that. So that's very interesting.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. And I think we don't even think about it, but someone had mentioned something about their grandmother and her nerves.
Yes, that was D.
Okay. Yeah. Her grandma used to complain about her nerves. Yeah. It's amazing how, we don't even realize how just something as simple as a vitamin can reduce a lot of these symptoms that we're experiencing. As far as the hot flashes, now my primary care physician, he is a man. He would always just say, black cohosh, I think it's black cohosh, he says was good for the hot flashes. But that was the only thing that he ever talked about, was just the hot flashes. And I'm thinking, there's so many more other symptoms here. But he only just focused on hot flashes. So those are, I'm going to stop there. Those are, some of the supplements that can help ease those symptoms that you're having during this transition. So I'll make sure I send those to you. And I'm going to stay on probably for about 5 more minutes. My husband and I've got a date tonight.
Yeah. Okay, hold on, because y'all know she's the one that's up here that I'm just gonna be up here oohing and on. So I dropped the link real quick, y'all. So I will say, if you could limit it to, if you have a quick question possibly for her, you gotta keep it quick, because
or if somebody just wants to talk about their experience, or maybe something that they've tried, if they've tried any of these supplements and they've helped, it's always good to know.
Want to have a more time with you, you're gonna have to come back if you don't mind.
Okay.
But let me ask you this real fast. Okay, I'm gonna highlight it because look, we're women. It is what it is. Crystal said that she said her clitoris disappeared. Is that a thing?
Oh, you know what? I haven't heard that.
Okay, I was just wondering if they had went over that in your class or not. Because I'm like, what?
I'm gonna have to talk to my doctor about that.
Okay. I need
Interesting.
That's why I was like, I'm gonna wait because I don't want to throw it off. But I needed to. There's no way I could not ask that question.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, thank you for that, for letting us know that, because that's something we can look into and find out what causes that. You know what, Trending? I'm going to say it's probably because of the estrogen levels dropping. I mean, think about it. The libido gets affected, all types of things. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just all connected.
I wouldn't either. I'm tired of it though.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, all of the different symptoms that come on. But I think the more that we educate ourselves and the more that we, know what we can do to help ourselves, it kind of eases up that anxiety of, like what's going to happen, or, am I going to experience this or that? I don't know. I'm the whole libido dropping. I am really afraid of that. Like, I don't have that, but I'm like, I hope that never.
Yvette, did you name a specific water that you drank, a brand or whatever? Did you name a specific one that you like? I couldn't remember.
No, I don't. I don't have a specific brand. So listen, there's a brand at a gas station, like literally by my house, and that water tastes so good. I drink Dasani and Aquafina, but really those waters are not that great. But if you pour them through, what do you call like those Bermuda? What do you call those things? those
And stuff.
Yeah, but I don't have a particular brand. At one time, I did try to drink alkaline water,
Okay.
and I found that it was increasing my blood pressure.
Oh, look at this. It's always something.
Yeah, my blood pressure started to spike, and I don't know what's in that water. I don't know if there's like so I was thinking that with alkaline water, there's probably like maybe some what do you call it? What do you call it? Like, like what is baking soda? What is the term for baking soda? The
Oh Lord.
chemical bicarbonate or something. There's something in there that I believe that, has sodium that's neutralizing the water to cause it to be alkaline. And I do believe that's what was triggering my blood pressure to spike. So once I stopped drinking alkaline water, then my blood pressure went back down.
Okay. I had only been curious. I have not been one to do the alkaline water yet, but now I'm like, you know what? I'll just do the regular water. I'm not doing it.
So somebody says alkaline water flushes your medication from your body.
Wow.
Yep, sodium bicarbonate. Yep, I could not think of that word. Sodium bicarbonate. And I feel like that is the ingredient that was spiking my blood pressure. So you just kind of have to be careful.
Okay. Well, no one popped up yet. So instead of it happening and it holds you up, please tell us anything that you want us to know, where they can find you. Although most of them already know. If they know me, they probably know about you. Find you, everything.
All right, you guys. Well, my channel is over at What's Happening 90. A lot of people sometimes say they can't find me. If you just type in the search on YouTube, What's Happening Blogger, I'll come up. Because some people will type in just What's Happening and they're like, sometimes I can't find you. I'm finding the TV show What's Happening, and it's kind of coming up first. So you can type in What's Happening Blogger or What's Happening 90 and you should be able to find me. I am going to, like I said, I had talked about doing the menopause series over on my channel. I don't know. I told Trending, my time sometimes is limited, but I may have some things coming up in the future. I won't talk about them just yet, but there may be some things coming down the pipe that might be of interest to you all. So with that said,
for YouTube, expand the little bit I've learned.
Type in What's Happening Wanda's Food and it will come up. Chef Dawn.
I had to put that.
Oh, Dad. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for having me today. I enjoyed this conversation. But yeah, we got to do it again. You guys have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, bye. What's happening?
All right, you guys. Bye.
Okay, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Shout out to the Millimeters fan page that kind of alerted. Some of y'all think y'all came because y'all saw that posted. And thank you very much. This is a necessary conversation. It's not the end of it. Whether it will be through What's Happening's channel, because I'm gonna pray she does her series, or she decides to come back here with her GYN, which I would be over the moon if that happens. We will continue this conversation as her time permits and everything, because this was so good, and we only did mostly neck up with a couple of outliers. So we'll do another part of the body. Whatever she's comfortable with, that's the order we'll go in. But I really appreciate this. There's so much I didn't know. She's gonna let me know that list that she had, and it wasn't even brand specific. It was just the type of vitamins and supplements that you might want to incorporate and try. So That'll be easy. That way you can go with your preference. And she did talk about labdoor.com if you'd like to research the supplements that you are thinking about doing, like the brand, to make sure the brand's actually giving you the full supplement and not fillers. And like she said, she named some stuff that shouldn't be in there. I don't even remember what she named, but they shouldn't be in there with your stuff. So labdoor.com, like a laboratory, labdoor.com. Thank y'all so much for coming. However you found out about this, I thank you for coming, but special shout out to the Millimeters fan page for helping me spread the word. You are too sweet. You know, I appreciate you. And of course, thank you to What's Happening for putting herself out there, coming in a different avenue that I'm not used to for her, but I know will be great. The more, whatever she more wants to do, I'm here for it. Thank y'all for being here to be part of the conversation. The interaction is what we need. So I thank y'all so much. Alpha MC says, thank you, Trina, and What's Happening for bringing such wonderful awareness to the unspoken truths about perimenopause and menopause as it affects women. Yes. If you didn't catch the beginning, go ahead and please do that, because throughout the time she was sharing good information. She described the training, like not specifically every little bit that they taught, but just that her training that she had, because she is a certified, I think she said certified menopause coach. It was a 12-week course, and it was like 12 to 14 different like doctors, medical practitioners that were teaching it. It was really good. So yes, this is a great conversation. Okay. I know nobody sounds like, I don't know. I didn't ask her age, but nobody sounds like their age. Okay, y'all. So I hope you have a great evening. Yeah, she said arsenic. She did say some of those supplements had arsenic in it, which is crazy. It was so informative. Hopefully this remained a safe space for y'all to share your experiences and ask your questions. This won't be the last time. You are very welcome, Yvette. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later. Bye.